Hey guys, and welcome back to Castle Crush, and today we are going to be going through some epic double mana speed Spectre matches here, and I'd been meaning to do this for a while now because I'd already done a giant Spectre in this game mode before, but I haven't done one recently, and I could clearly beat the record I had previously, I think, so I decided to try and go for this again here, especially with the necromancer existing now. You can really keep the skeletons going over and over, especially with necromancer plus resurrection. So that is what I decided to do, and to try and go for some super huge specters. And it's pretty easy against most types of decks. In fact, the only times where I really had trouble were against opponents who also had a similar type of deck. And the reason why is because the game would start to lag so much from them having so many skeletons too, that it would then become impossible basically for me to play my cards. So that didn't happen super often, but it is possible to almost basically crash the game in this game mode if you try hard enough. Just because of the sheer amount of skeletons that are being produced. But the necromancer is pretty fun in this game mode. Cards like the Storm Elemental are also really fun because you can keep them out there for a pretty long time. I definitely want to do some more videos with this particular deck because it's just too much fun. It's just too much fun. As you'll see here, just in this first match, I get so many Spectres out. It's unbelievable. And I do run a black Witch in here just as a defensive card, although I don't normally try to use it because usually I like to stick with the Spectres, although I will say I could run Nature Heal. That might help a little bit, but I don't really need Nature Heal. But it might help with actually winning the matches, since as you can see, the Spectres, when they come back, are at pretty low health. But we already have a pretty epic number out there with 3 Necromancers backing up those Spectres up to plus 77. And they're just helping me out here with these dragons. And then that one is plus 97. I do think this is probably one of the best game modes to do this in because you wouldn't normally be able to really do this in like a regular match, plus 106. It'd be pretty hard to do this in like a regular ranked match just because you wouldn't be able to get enough cards out there within the time of the match. And with double mana speed, you're getting like, I think, twice as many cards during the course of a match. So that allows you to get more like whatever you want, more giant growths, more skeletons. So here's another Spectre about to go out there. Plus 141. It's too bad I didn't have a giant growth in this. That's what I should have had. That's what I forgot, was a giant growth, because I could have really added it up on one of these big Spectres, and it would have been pretty crazy. So I think I'll try that again next time. But that was a 141 Spectre, and I believe I get an even larger one here. That one right there, plus 188. Like, this is pretty much only possible in this game mode, I think. And then plus 198. And then finally, plus 208. But unfortunately, we didn't get to really see the full Spectre because I won the match. But that was the largest Spectre I get, spoiler alert. Plus 208 is my new record. So that's a pretty big one. I'm not sure if I've seen a larger one than that. I'd have to double check, but I feel like that beats one of the ones I'd seen as a previous record. In fact, I could almost try and check it right now and see what the record probably was on YouTube for Castle Crush Spectres. But that one's pretty big. I feel like that's not a situation you'd run across in a normal match. So let's just quick search here. Yeah, Zigwe has one where he had a plus 140, I think. That's what it shows in the thumbnail. I'd have to double check these all. My previous one was only like a plus 84. Gaming Viking has one with a 100 plus. But I'm not sure anyone has one with a plus 208. I think I may have just set the record on YouTube. I may have just set the record on YouTube. But anyways, some of these matches pretty good as well. Just trying to overwhelm my opponents here with the Resurrection and the Skeletons. But it's really the Necromancer. That is the card that allows the new Spectre record, I think, to be set. Is really the Necromancer, because with Resurrection, you could do a lot with Resurrection, but eventually against a deck with, like, say, dragons, you would simply run out of skeletons. You'd run out of Resurrections, and then the skeletons would die, and you'd have to kind of start over. But with the Necromancer, it doesn't matter even if they do have a dragon, because the Spectres will just wear down the dragon. As long as you have a Necromancer, you can keep the skeletons going over and over, especially with a gust of wind to make sure you don't get backed up against your castle. And then if they do use a spell or something, you can play the Resurrection. So I'm really enjoying this game mode now with Skeletons and Necromancer. The only problem is really the fact that the game starts to lag like crazy and pretty much makes it kind of unplayable in the later stages, but you know, maybe that's to be expected. I don't think the game was designed imagining players would have quite that many skeletons, but I don't see anyone else, as far as I can tell, who has a larger Spectre. We'll check on Zigwee's video and see what his was. He's a larger one with giant growth, I believe. He's a larger one with giant growth, but I don't think the actual number of skeletons was larger, but we'll see. Let's double check. Maybe it was. No, that one was a plus 73. But that's weird because I guess it's with giant growth. Let's see. Interesting. It might be because I'm on a tablet that it's looking smaller. Because I'm watching these older videos and the Spectres looked larger with less numbers. Like his was almost to the top of the screen with a plus 73, whereas mine with like the 190 something was not even up there. But I think 208 is a record. I think that is a record. Sorry, I've said that so many times now. I'm just kind of pumped because I should probably check against my own record too to see what's going on there. This was another good match here. This one right here, I believe, had a lot of good stuff in it and got a pretty good fight going. So, yeah, my previous record was nowhere near this. Nowhere near this. And again, really the Necromancer makes the difference there. But you can see again here, when my opponent has a Necromancer and I have a Necromancer, it really makes it super duper epic. Because I can keep spawning these giant Spectres. And it definitely changes the complexion of this game mode. I think this is a really powerful deck. I've run against a couple decks that can counter it pretty good, but it's a really powerful deck. I'd say the main deck that's a counter to this one is a spells deck with, not complete spells, but like a deck that's based around delaying your opponent with cannon shot. That one tends to beat this one because they can blow me back with gust of wind, you know, use Black Witch, arrows, all that good stuff. And then I had several matches where I had huge Spectres, but my opponents won with the cannon shot decks because they just kept blowing me back with gust of wind. So it didn't matter how many I had out there, they could just never reach the castle. Now, if I put a Skull Queen in, I would probably be able to beat those decks. Because what happens, as you'll see, maybe in this match a little bit, or certainly in the one I left out. Unfortunately, another one I didn't get to put in, but I think in this one too, if they have multiple Skull Queens, the speed seems to stack. I never really realized that because you don't normally have like 3 Skull Queens out in a match, but the speed stacks. So it gets to the point where the skeletons are like flying across the map. They're just flying across there basically. And at that point, it wouldn't matter how many spells you had really. If you have necromancer with skeletons going at that speed, you're going to win. You're going to outpace the cannon shots. So I think that would be the solution to avoid losing to cannon shots, would be the Skull Queen. But I really do have a lot of fun with it, that game mode in particular. Tons of fun with that deck. So once again, double checking, yeah, it was a plus 140 that Zigui had. So I did successfully top that. Maybe not in like physical size, because for some reason the Spectre doesn't look as big. But it may again be because I'm playing on the iPad, so maybe there's more vertical space. However, I do actually think I could top 208, and I think there are a couple matches and times where I could have done it if the game had not lagged so much. Because once it starts lagging, then it takes like 10-15 seconds for it to even register you played a Spectre, and that makes it pretty difficult. And this match right here, just again, a huge showdown. I was trying to react here, but the game was starting to slow down, as you can see. Got up to a plus 108. Got up to a plus 108, but I couldn't even see what was going on here. I needed to use the gust of wind. I believe this was the match where I was trying to play cards right here, but they were all burning. For me, it showed they were burning. Every time I tried to play a card, it was just burning up, and I couldn't play. I couldn't play my gust of wind because the game, it was showing a no Wi-Fi symbol for me, and that was all I could do. So unfortunately, that was the limit right there in that match with the 2 skeleton decks going at each other. The game was just not having it. But anyways, that was still a ton of fun, guys. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know your thought in the comments about this video and what other types of content I should create. Maybe subscribe if you're new to my channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.